The Second World War caused enormous destruction and left large parts of the world in ruins. That's why the United Nations was established with one main target: to prevent war in the future. The UN is a meeting point where leaders from all around the world can interact. In the UN, countries try to agree on which rules and agreements should apply in the world. The most important topics of discussion in the UN are peace and security, human rights, and sustainable development. The Sustainable Development Goals is the United Nations global agenda to end poverty, fight inequality, and combat climate change by 2030. There are 17 goals and 169 targets. The agenda serves as a joint roadmap for all the countries in the world. One of the main principles of the Sustainable Development Goals is to leave no one behind. The most vulnerable should be given priority. In the UN General Assembly, all countries, small and large, have one vote and the same say. All member states are committed to follow the Constitution of the United Nations, the UN Charter, where peace and human rights are central topics. The most powerful organ of the UN is the Security Council. It's in charge of maintaining peace and security between nations. The Council has 15 members, 5 of which are permanent, and the remaining 10 members are elected for 2-year terms. Even though the UN is the most important organization working for world peace today, it also receives criticism for its shortcomings in the face of modern-day conflicts. Many argue that the organization needs to change to remain important in the future. The UN General Secretary has called for major reforms of the organization. Several member states have supported change to maintain world peace in years to come. No matter how you look at it, the UN is one of the most important meeting points in the world, as well as an arena for international cooperation. Even though the UN isn't perfect, it is the best we've got, and all nations must work together to take care of our world.
Soul of Christ, sanctify me. Body of Christ, save me. Water from the side of Christ, wash me. Passion of Christ, give me strength.
doubts me, defend me.
And when the call of death arrives, bid me come to thee, that I may praise thee with thy saints forever.
Tayo po ay manalangin, ipikit po natin ang ating mga mata at damhin natin ang presensya ng Panginoon. Sa pangalan ng Ama, ng Anak at ng Diyos Espiritu Santo. Amen. Panginoon, Ama naming nasa langit, kami po ay buong pusong nagpapasalamat at nagpupuri sa inyo. Sa walang hanggang kabutihan, pagmamahal, paggabay at patuloy na pagpatnubay niyo po sa bawat isa sa amin. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, sa panibagong buhay na naman po na muli ay inyong binahagi sa amin, sa kalakasan at katalinuhan na amin pong nagagamit sa bawat araw. Muli, Panginoon, kami po ay nagpapakumbabang lumalapit at humihingi ng kapatawaran sa lahat ng mga pagkakasala, sa lahat ng mga pagkukulang, sa mga nasabi, naisip, nagawa namin na hindi tama, at hindi rin po naging kalugod-lugod sa inyo at sa aming kapwa-tao. Mapatawad niyo po sana kami, Panginoon, at ng mga tao na nagawa namin ng hindi tama. Sa araw na ito, Panginoon, kami po'y muling lumalapit at humihiling na nawa kayo po ang patuloy na maging gabay at patuloy naming maging patnubay para sa gawain namin ngayong araw. Patuloy niyo po kaming samahan, patuloy niyo po kaming bigyan ng kalakasan, ng katalinuhan, ng kababaan ng kalooban sa araw na ito. Nawa, Panginoon, ang bawat mag-aaral namin, lalo na po ang mga lumahok na naglaan ng kanilang oras, ng kanilang lakas para sa gawain na ito, ay patuloy niyo pong samahan at gabayan. 10 ng kanilang mga guro na patuloy na nagpakita ng suporta, na masigasig na sumama upang kanilang magabayan ang kanilang mga estudyante para sa gawain ito. Nawa, Panginoon, tulungan niyo po kami na tanggapin at maluwalhating makita ang kagandahan na dulot ng aktibidad na ito, at anuman po ang magiging resulta nito ay masaya po naming tatanggapin. Naniniwala po kami, Panginoon, na sa tulong, awa at paggabay po ninyo, magiging matagumpay, magiging masaya, magiging maayos ang gawain ito. Kaya nga po, Panginoon, buong puso na po namin ito pinagkakatiwala at pinauubayan sa inyo. Amen. Pangalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Diyos Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Thy saints forever.
To our beloved President, Dr. Gabriel G. Uriarte, together with his partner, the Vice President, Dr. Lucina P. Uriarte, and to the members of the administration, Dr. Charles Brian Uriarte and Dr. Grace Joy Uriarte Mendoza, Engineer Marcos Villena, Ma'am Jennifer Dakayanan, the academic coordinators, and the faculty members of the Senior High School for the Hotel and Poblacion Campus. Most of all, of course, to the students of the grade 11 and grade 12. Good day, magandang umaga. Ano pa bang mga lingwahe na pwede natin gamitin? Dahil sa pagkakataong ito, tayo ay magse-celebrate ng United Nations with the theme Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. At ating matutunghayan ang mga nag-participate sa informative speech at Mr. and Miss United Nation. Makikita po natin ang kanilang mga talento, ang kanilang mga galing, at talagang mamamangha tayong lahat sa ating makikita ngayong umagang ito. Dahil hindi lang talento nandun din yung makikita nyo yung inyong mga classmates sa kanilang magagarang costume, national costume na talagang may effort at sinasabing nahirapan ng ating mga judges pumili ng mga winners, hindi lamang sa informative speech dahil ang gagaling nilang lahat, pati na rin sa Mr. and Miss United Nation dahil hindi lang sa mga magagaling mag-project, not to mention they are good looking at the same time. Makikita mo talaga, despite the pandemic, despite the challenges that we face dito sa ating online distance learning, ay hindi po nagpatalo ang ating po mga estudyante. Patunay po ito na hindi po tumutigil ang pag-aaral, ang learning dito sa Kolehiyo de San Gabriel Arcangel. Hindi lamang sa loob ng Google Meet o kaya naman ng Messenger, kundi gumagawa din po tayo ng paraan upang mahasa ang mga talento ng ating mga mag-aaral. At iyon po ang inyo pong matutunghayan sa umagang ito. At maraming pong salamat sa mga magulang na walang sawang sumusuporta sa pag-develop ng talent ng kanilang mga anak. Kitang-kita po namin na talagang nakasuporta po talaga ang ating pong mga parents at ang ating pong mga guardians, kasama po mga kapatid. Yung post po natin sa Facebook, talagang that's very active po. Talagang nakita po namin na buhos ang support at kami po ay masayang-masaya dahil alam po namin na sa mga susunod pang mga aktibidad ng Kolehiyo de San Gabriel Arcangel ay makakasama po namin kayo at ang inyong po mga anak. Hindi ko na po patatagalin pa mga mahal naming mag-aaral, mga magulang, kaibigan. Tunghayan niyo po ang mga nagsipaglahok at nagsipagtagumpay sa ating pong mga contest dito sa United Nations, sa informative speech, at sa Mr. and Miss United Nations. Maraming salamat.
Hi, my name is Zaskia Adrian E. Advincula from 11 Wound, and this speech is all about recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. This reflects an increasing understanding that the essence of peace cannot be found in Security Council resolutions or treaties, but is about my myriad of large and small actions and decisions that impact on individuals, families, and communities. An equitable and sustainable world is one where people have access to food, to security, to education and health, to justice, where people are empowered to participate in decisions that affects them, and consider the impact on environment. Consequently, efforts towards peace must address a broad range of factors that drive conflict and inequality. International Day Peace of 2021. In the Philippines, an increasing number of joint interventions bring together different areas of expertise from within the UN system to collaborate the national actors in the search for comprehensive solutions for current challenges. For example, by implementing programs to strengthen social protection system and resilience in BARMM, the UN is contributing to ongoing government's efforts to reach the most vulnerable groups and build more peaceful societies where the rights of all citizens are protected and realized. Efforts to resolve the conflict in BARMM ultimately hinges not only on transformation to nonviolent means of expressing grievances, but also on the government's ability to provide social protection, to empower people, and to overcome patterns to discrimination and marginalization. Global experience has shown that women Youth and other often overlooked groups are critical stakeholders who have much to contribute at all stages of peace building. When we insist on an inclusive process that gives space to a wide range of community voices, we ensure that agreements are meaningful for those who have been most impacted by conflict. The Philippines is in many ways a microcosm of the many challenges that are starting point of our common agenda. Climate change, internal conflict, and the impact of coronavirus hamper progress towards no poverty, zero hunger, and good health. The world and the Philippines are at the inflection point, but inflection points provide us with opportunities to step and make the right choices. Internationally and within countries, when we cover better for a more equitable and sustainable world. We also lay foundation for development, human rights, peace. Goals we are. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today I want to present an informative speech about covering better for sustainable and equitable world. Every year, International Day of Peace is observed across the world on 21st September. This was established in the year 1981. Peace Day also offers a globally shared data on humanity to commit to peace above all difference, and also help to build a culture of peace. Community pantries in the Philippines operate on trust system and encourage donors to give what they can and take only as much as they need. They symbolize unity by giving and helping others. Community pantries not only exhibit generosity, they also demonstrate respect and consideration for others. Due to pandemic, the discrimination and hatred are deepening, and millions of people are experiencing this right now. Virus attack everyone, without caring as to where you are from or what is your position right now. While it is first and foremost a health crisis, it is also an educational crisis, unemployment, and economic crisis, a crisis of hunger and of poverty, which is the opposite of what we want and what we think. This can't be happen again if you want to learn how to understand people's situation. To be able to recover the pandemic, the only solution is simply we must peace with each other, and by working solidarity for a lasting sustainable peace every day. We need to turn this around with a bold, sustainable, and inclusive global recovery. One that benefits the many rather than the few. One that delivers hope to people and healing to our planet. I am Roslyn May Tagalog, representative for Grade 12 Berkeley, that give you a realization by this short message. There is no tomorrow. If we know how important kindness to others, let's help to make this world safer and more sustainable someday. And everyone, make peace today.
Good day, my name is Aliyah Chloe Tablate from 12 Liquors. On September 21, the world celebrated International Peace 2021, led by the United Nations with the theme of Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. This was brought by the call of the Organization for Individuals for a Ceasefire for the Betterment and Healing of Everyone from the Outbreak of Coronavirus. We had suffered greatly from this pandemic, incurring a huge loss in every aspect of our lives, may it be physical, psychological, or financial. As various types of vaccine and medication are now on hand, we are now entering a turning point where we are already recovering and at the phase of moving on from this threat of the virus. Yet, this was hindered by our still unsolved problems, which have been plaguing our planet for centuries: poverty, discrimination, and violence. Going back to the convalescence of the world from the rampaging of the COVID-19, as of now, only 35% out of the entire population worldwide are fully vaccinated with their chosen vaccines. Though it is not mandatory, the government is promoting taking vaccinations for safety and quicker advancement from the loss. Various reasons are affecting why there is a little percentage of vaccinated people. Some places could not be reached with the government's help. They are adopting the vaccines and unfair distribution of the vaccine. Underlying these issues, unfair distribution involves discriminations among socioeconomic status and authority. How the choices of the people will decide and lead this mission into realization. Laying everything into the plan and communicating the information would not work without any action. In summary, this team, Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World, comprises of 3 steps: addressing the challenges, formulating a solution which is through cooperation, and putting this effort into an action. The Philippine government had already taken into action through the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022, which encompasses social protection initiatives, job creation, and other initiatives, and start addressing these problems. As a response, the United Nations promised to support this, and it is already looking forward and hoping for more nations to join this movement for everyone's sake. For this kind of world, this could be attained where everyone will always feel alive, even in the face of any struggles. Consequently, it requires effort, cooperation, a joint force from everyone, regardless race, gender, age, religion, and socioeconomic status. Having everyone, especially those set of groups, like indigenous people, who are oftentimes overlooked, is all vital for this success. Setting aside the differences, having ceasefire and collaboration of ideas for everyone's betterment. Having these little efforts that could be done by each individual could lead something bigger. Like how John Wooden stated that, little details that are vital, little things make big things happen. This equitable and sustainable work is within grasp as everyone recovers from numerous challenges brought by it. It may break something, but it does not destroy everything instead. It makes people stronger and always leads everyone into cooperation, giving away the lessons to be remembered and applied for future circumstances.
Have you ever imagined yourself in those movies and book scenarios? A perfect world where birds sing and the sound of rushing pristine water can be heard? A world to die for, right? Well, that's too dreamy. Let's try to imagine clear-sighted. What if our world is harmless? What if your children could run around worry-free? What if poverty is non-existent and mental illness and corruption are not chronic? What if there's no such thing like diseases that kill millions of people every year? Pretty good to hear, right? Those are the wishes that we really wanted to come true. But our reality right now is not active as before because of the deadly virus called SARS-CoV-2, or as we all know as COVID-19. The fact is we are not just afraid of the death caused by COVID-19, we're terrified of the other problems that have occurred in the past 2 years. Examples are already in front of our eyes, such as extreme poverty, which affects the majority of people, with youths bearing the brunt of the burden. Today, I would like to point out our role that may help us recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. The first is for the parents. Their role is to provide encouragement, support, love, and build a safety sanctuary for the children. Teaching a child good morals and values, develop mutual respect, and provide discipline that is effective and appropriate. Because I believe that our parents are our first teachers and should remain the best teachers throughout our lives. Second is the government. Their main role is to provide leadership for unity, provide public service, protect our national security, and provide economic assistance. The goal is to serve only the best for the people, including medical health insurance, enough government assistance for every family, especially for those experiencing extreme poverty, and free access to high-quality education, and fair justice for those victims of cruelty. The third one is about people. The success of both peoples and their nations depends on the values they adopt. Values influence actions, and these subsequent actions determine life outcomes. Respect, discipline, and following the rules are signs of excellent values we should learn. Jim Rohn quoted that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Respect helps us to unite, and unconditional love humbly open our palms to help our compatriots, especially those children who had no one to hold to. Children didn't choose to be born. They had no choice what country or where family or environment to live. They had no control on things around them. That's why the goal is to sustain every needs of giving free access to anything that helps them grow, not only in physical aspect, but also in morality, values, and spirituality. We can achieve our goals as one. Our imagination will become true by holding each other's hand. We can build a world that is safe and equitable, sustainable, and harmless.
representative of 11 Brunner. Today I will be discussing recovering better for an equitable, sustainable world. An equitable, sustainable world, a price of people has equality. People must have a comfortable house to live in, a clean water to drink, a plate of food to eat, a decent job to sustain daily needs, equal justice for everyone, freedom, education, and healthcare. For instance, everyone should treat each other equally. Everyone should look at each other equally. Whether you are wealthy, poor, or just in between, respect and understanding without humiliation can result to healthy and good environment. Well, these are the main reasons why we can't achieve peaceful world. Discrimination. The word discrimination often used on day-to-day basis to describe being treated unfairly for a particular reason. Violence. Violence is the use of physical force so as injure, abuse, damage, or destroy. Violence can be found in the social, cultural, and economic aspects. Government corruptions. It is a major cause of poverty, considering now it affects the poorest, the most eroding political, economic development. Terrorism. This is an issue throughout the world that causes fear and insecurity, violence and death. Across the globe, terrorist attacks innocent people, often without warning. This makes civilians feel defenseless for their everyday lives. To concise, understanding respect for ourselves and to others is a process to have a sustainable and equitable world. As what Winston Churchill said, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. That's all. Thank you.
Let's talk about United Nations. What is United Nations? Well, the United Nations is an international government organization help maintain peace and a relatively friendly relationship among its 193 global members. The nation was created after World War. It helped ensure that another world will never happen again. Now, you may have another question. Why is this important? Well, whether you have family who lives overseas or travel abroad for a vacation, you may not know it, but many dislocations are actually global hotspots or just developing countries. United Nations is important in this country because it helps feed them or maintain the peace. What do they do? Officially, the United Nations has countless different missions, for instance to help fight global hunger, promote gender equality, promote global educational coordinates. The World Health Organization that maintains various peacekeeping missions to just long maintain the peace to the world. Food Program. The United Nations is able to help with countless people in developing countries with nutrition that they may not get on a regular basis. But sadly, according to CNBC, 270 million people are on the wall of the road towards starvation. That is United Nations Peacekeeping. It's run by the Department of Peace Operations at the United Nations. This is military using the charge of maintaining the peace. Currently, there are 13 active operations in 123 countries. Contribute to the organization. However, in the past decades, the number of forcibly displaced people has nearly doubled. This is just alarming rate to just know how important the United Nations can be to these people and all the developing countries. Conclusion, the United Nations whose various different groups and various different goals. They help food and then developing countries and their population. They help maintain global health, help ensure the peace in countless different developing countries. Now, there is a lot of criticism about the United Nations, about the limitation it has, but organization is only limited by the motivation of its members.
Hey everyone, life is like a pandemic, not always beautiful and good, but we experience problem and persecution. The pandemic has been accompanied by a surge in stigma, discrimination, and hatred, which only cause more lives instead of saving them. The virus attacks all without caring about where we are from or what we believe in. Confronting this common enemy of humankind, we must be reminded that we are not each other's enemy. To be able to recover from the devastation of the pandemic, we must make peace with one another and we must make peace with nature. Despite the travel restrictions and economic shutdowns, climate change is not on pause. What we need is a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, reduces emissions, and builds resilience to climate impacts. Unity is a five-letter word that has a huge meaning that we all should know. Unity is the need of the hour. In every country, people need unity to survive. If people will not unite, they will become weak alone and they will be facing a lot of problems. We should always help and support other people who need help. And we should always stand together in every situation. Unity is something that makes the weaker one. Placing human rights at the center of peace and reconciliation efforts can help to address underlying causes of conflict, such as poverty, inequality, and discrimination. It also contributes to a victim-focused approach which promotes rule of law and justice. A society without violence is in a better position to provide a high level of respect for its political, civil, economic, social, and cultural rights. That's all. Thank you.
Knocked, shaken, suffered. I am affected. You are affected. Us, and so does the world. 2 years ago, a mysterious contagious disease began to wander in the land of Wuhan, China. The disease began to transmit from a person to another, from a community to a community, spreading an unequivocal illness mainly targeting the respiratory system of the infected. The disease became a widespread illness. It is now we call the COVID-19. COVID-19 displays many symptoms which appears similar to ordinary flu, which makes it more difficult and complicated. Few can feel the symptoms and some are not, ranging from mild, moderate, and life-threatening. This disease widely transmitted until it is declared a pandemic. According to the statistics released by our respective references, as soon as the COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 began to loom and spread all around the world, leaving nearly 1 million infected, taking the lives of almost 5 million people and still counting and roaming all around the globe. There are 7 million people left unemployed, forced to quit their jobs as the protocols try to ensure and maintain the safety of all. We can also deny other issues still reigns, especially the poverty, hunger, and food and water crisis also exist. As we observe further, we'll notice how big is the impact of those crises, causing bankruptcy to several businesses, especially for those who belong to small and medium scale. The economy of all nations dwindled down as their foundations start to weaken, making the world strive even more, including for the run towards the search of the medication and vaccine. COVID literally stopped the world as soon as it emerged. We, the children of hereafter, knew that we should do something. We should have a voice, uproar tumultuously enough to wake each other's mind. This is a wake-up call. The battle of the world is also the battle of its children. The nation of full shall help the nation in need. We shall spread awareness and knowledge instead of inequity and prejudice. Extend our hands despite of our diversity. The children of hereafter should learn that peace, unity, and power against diversity and judgment of the society cannot be bought, for it is built. I am Jean Margaret L. Javier, a privileged student, given a voice to represent 11 Marie Curie, engraving this advocacy. The world of all nations, we shall arise, be an open eye. Let us be allies. We won't let our divergence ruin the peace and make divergence, for we, the empire of one, is standing in the same skies. Have a good day. Thank you and God bless us.
Hi everyone, thank you for letting me to be one of the participants. I am Izumi Baban and I am going to be speaking to you all about recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. So when we say about this topic, what comes first to our mind? Is this about food, security, education, health, and also to justice? Am I correct? Why do we need food? Because for us to have a long life. Also to live with family, with security, because what will happen to us if we all have authority? Authority to what? To kill a person whoever they want to. Security is not only to be famous. We all have rights in different things for us to be fair and equal. Every individual has different beliefs. As a matter of fact, we need to respect each other's beliefs because it may help us and educate us, understand others' perspective, and to fully educate us. Similarly, in the situation we are experiencing right now, that was called COVID-19 pandemic, where most people are not allowed to go outside because of the contagious virus that can be transmitted through close contact, via aerosol, and respiratory droplets that are exhaled when talking, breathing, or otherwise produced from coughs or sneezes. Many people have led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide. In addition to this, a large percentage of local workers and employees have lost their jobs due to a worldwide pandemic without the means to earn an income during the lockdown. Many are unable to feed themselves and their families because they are lack of income and money. Educational systems are also affected due to teens and children aren't allowed to go outside because of their weaker immune systems. The new normal educational system was held through online or virtual learning, modular for those students who doesn't have stable connection. On the other hand, frontliners, or most are the health workers, are allowed to go outside because they are assigned to help other people to surpass their COVID-19 journey. They are also risking their lives just to help us to maintain the low cases of COVID-19 in different places. COVID-19 pandemic also taught us to be strong and don't just give up and lose hope. It also helped us to be close to our family and gives us more time and quality time with our loved ones. We can survive this pandemic if we all have our cooperation and unity with the help of everybody. We can quickly surpass this. Don't just believe that unreliable information, confirm it by searching it, watching television, or listening to a radio.
As we all know, 2020 has been a tough year. We experienced a lot of social issues including poverty, hunger, pandemic, discrimination, and climate change. Poverty. Poverty has been a global issue since then. A lot of people not only in poor countries experience this. It is a key issue in the economic stability domain. Poverty as a public issue is not unimodal, rising once to national prominence and then fading. It is cyclical, rather rising and falling several times. Hunger. The main cause of hunger is poverty. Without poverty, people will not experience hunger. Millions of people around the world are simply too poor to be able to buy food. According to Hunger Map 2020, around the world, 811 million people still go hungry. World hunger is on the rise, affecting 9.9% of people globally. Pandemic. The year 2020 when coronavirus started, people are in a state of crisis. They lose their jobs, they are in self-isolation, quarantine, and lockdown. Discrimination. Discrimination is not new to us. It is the unfair or prejudicial treatment of people and groups based on characteristics such as race, gender, age, or sexual orientation. An example of that is the Asian hate crime that a lot of Asians encountered. They are judged because of how they look and the idea of they are the main source of the virus. And lastly, climate change. The main cause of climate change is human activity, like burning fossil fuels, cutting trees, and so on. And as we celebrate United Nations, it's time for us to have a better recovery for an equitable and sustainable world. We can conquer the social problems if we have solidarity and cooperation to address this and other challenges facing the world today. We should stop poverty and hunger by creating awareness, educating everyone, and seeking economical stability. Ending the pandemic by following the rules and regulations and taking vaccines. Stopping discrimination because there's no reason to discriminate against someone. Don't set aside your morality to justify your beliefs. Be respectful and accept someone that's different from you. And lastly, there is no climate change. The system does. Stop producing single-use plastics and be a wise consumer. We can defeat all these issues by being one. Solidarity is a must. Even if we are not of the same race, culture, beliefs, and country, we can be one. We can beat this as we should.
Food, security, health, safety, justice, poverty. In a world where the lack of education equals the absence of success, be the one who shares his victory. Be that someone who does not degrade, neglect, and despise the cry of those in need. As someone who was privileged to climb higher in society, let us extend our arms to them that stay beneath. Discrimination, conflict, war, freedom. In a world where borders become blurred and crossed, be the one who strives to learn the art of valuing people. Be that someone who believes that possessing a forgiving heart does not imply losing. As someone who has gained freedom in society, let us use it to be a help, not a tool to step on the chained ones. The love He has given us brought us resilience. The peace you contribute makes a great impact. The life you choose to live is undeniable influence. The difference we long for can start in your presence.
The current COVID-19 has a significant impact on our lives. We frequently consider not getting out of bed every day because life no longer excites us. It's unsettling to watch the news on television or online, knowing that a large number of people are afflicted with illnesses that will cause them to die. And it makes you wonder what if you too will suffer. It was called a crisis that affects our social, economic, political, and ecological status, particularly our personal status. COVID-19 is more than just a virus that infects the human body. It affects everyone, both those who have experienced it and those who have not. Do you consider it the end of the world? Don't worry, I got you. Restoring the energy of the world appears to be extremely difficult. It's difficult to find a way out of this never-ending trauma. It appears that we are becoming the weakest version of ourselves as a result of this pandemic. Consider your plans as a blueprint that is ready to be built. Consider how happy you are that you will be able to see your classmates tomorrow at school and eat lunch with them. And it's something I'm thinking about right now. It's been ruined, and you're no longer in trouble. I'd like you to concentrate on how you're feeling. You're worried, sad, scared, terrified, and hopeless. And why am I pointing you in this direction? Or what about me? Or the person sitting next to you? We cannot, of course, demand that the world change, because the world is demanding that we change. Change your mindset to a more positive one. Consider what you can do to help make a difference. We may not be able to return to a time when everything was fine, but I believe we can build a new and better future. Begin with yourself and allow it to flow wherever you are, if we work together to make a difference. And again, I'm Darnell Z. Gayato Jr. that believes hundreds of billions of people converge into one. There are no more limitations, there will be no more injustices, there will be no more disparities. The true foe will be vanquished, recovered in a positive way.
Good day, everyone. My name is Betty Beatriz Condes from grade 11 Habol, an ABM student, and I'm here in front of you to deliver my speech with the theme of Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. All of us experience to suffer from this pandemic. Small sector, private sector, and our whole economy fallen immediately. In just one snap, everything changed. Some of these changes are negative, but if we look to a larger picture, we can see that this pandemic isn't just a curse full of difficulties. It is also a way that brought us to our better self and lead us to a path that makes us stronger, bolder, and courageous. This pandemic also shows that there's still a lot of people ready to be a helping hand even in rough times. As of October 23, 2021, total of 2.7 million COVID-19 cases are reported. 2.3% or about 63,000 are active cases and 2.6 million people had recovered. This statistics shows that we are really fighting over the virus. And according to the latest update as of October 21, 2021, about 25 million Filipinos are fully vaccinated and 39.34 million are waiting for their second dose. Because of continuous and expansive vaccination rollout, the positivity rate as well as the mortality rate had dropped down. So the government approved the reopening of the big and small establishments, and because of this, the economy had gradually recovering. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque states that we are winning the fight against the virus. Despite of hardship and trials created by the pandemic, people remain strong, resilient, and inquisitive. For those people who stuck themselves due to pandemic, moved on and stepped forward. Instead of stressing yourself to your problems, why not enjoy your problem and let it stress itself? Our world is not stopping from revolving, so we must go on and go with the flow. Continue and improve what you are doing before, because it can help you to recover faster and recover better for the sake of stability, advancement, and development of our world. That's all. Thank you.
Recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. Peace begins with a smile. Good day, everyone. We can hold on to that phrase that Mother Teresa says in this new normal. Is there anything or something that helps you adjust with the pandemic? I have learned 3 psychological ways on how to recover at my darkest time. Having a talk with someone can make an effect to its mood or feelings. Releasing stress by communicating to the ones you love is a great way to lose some of it. Many studies shows that the people have satisfying relationship with stress are happier, have fewer health problems, and live longer. The conversation we made can bring joy and happiness to ourselves and to the person we are talking to. Second is compliment. We people tend to be needy sometimes. The needs of attention and appreciation is all we need to lift up our mood. Simply praise to someone can lift a positive, bright energy or aura. And lastly is to have a time out. Unplug the social media, lessen the use of gadgets, and bond more with your family or friends that is near in your neighborhood while following the COVID protocol. Our mental health is an important aspect of our body. We can function well if it's damaged or ruined. So I think following the 3 ways can help a student recover and in this new normal survive.
The day that we didn't expect is happening now. We are stuck at home and can't go outside without face masks and face shield. We experience too much stress to the point that our mental health are affected. Many of us are facing challenges that can be stressful, overwhelming, and may cause strong emotions to adults and children. COVID-19 pandemic has brought economies to a halt, anxiety, and depression. If you are not well aware on what is COVID-19, it is an infectious disease that caused by newly discovered coronavirus. It is often more severe in people 60 plus years old or with health conditions like lung or heart disease, diabetes, or conditions that affect their immune system. As time passed by, there are vaccines that was made. Most of the people already had the first and even the second dose of the COVID vaccine. But as per United Nations, there are several countries that not have even received the first dose of the COVID vaccine. On International Day, Peace UN Philippines resident coordinator Gustavo Gonzalo says that we are at an inflection point on our history, with humanity facing an urgent choice between breakdown or breakthrough as we strive to heal from the COVID-19 pandemic and we imagine a better future for people and planet. That's why this year's theme is recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. Peace, cooperation, and being responsible is the foundation for that recovery. The global vaccination effort cannot advance amidst armed conflict. Our common agenda emphasizes the need for solidarity and cooperation to address these and other challenges facing the world today. In 2021, as we still fight the COVID-19 pandemic, we are inspired to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone recover better, how to build resilience, and how to transform our world into one that is more equal, more just, equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. On this day, the United Nations invites everyone out there to celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online or offline, and by spreading compassion, kindness, and hope in the face of the pandemic and as we recover.
Today marks the 76th anniversary of United Nations, and each year the International Day of Peace is celebrated around the world during this month. Heal the world and make it a better place. A famous line from Michael Jackson's pop song that is widely used as a reminder for us. The dear people of the world, when there's a situation that is getting out of hand, which, if not taken seriously, may result to the downfall of our existence. It is highly relevant to see what's happening right now, as we face the situation we are currently in. The world has a lot of problems to address, such as the issue about nature, issue in territory and sovereignty, terrorism, and so on. But the biggest obstacle is the COVID-19 pandemic. It put us tightly hanging from the ceiling. It made the lives of people chaotic, with a rope in our neck and the melting ice on our feet, which let us wonder if we'll be able to survive. Are we capable of passing this through?
to be able to live in a world that is abundant of peace, equity, equality, and love, and has the capability to sustain it. It is the people's dream, which the leaders must prioritize. Along with the development within the world, we were already practicing to have an equitable and sustainable way of living. This was just deteriorated by the world's different problems. The COVID-19 pandemic, which causes different turmoil, be it with the people or each of the government itself. This struggle made various malfunction within the system, made the broken system rot into its own parts. It paralyzed those who doesn't strive enough to survive. It also affected the economy of the world, making the path to equitable and sustainable world unsteady and a bit shaky. The economists estimated that the global gross domestic product will have a 4.5% drop in economic growth, resulting almost 3.94 trillion US dollars of lost economic output. In addition, the world still have the violence issues. The hashtag Black Lives Matter made it to the top trend in different social media platforms. The hashtag was started from the USA right after a black man died as a result of police violence. Our own country had also issues with regards of police brutality. These instances are considered as an abuse of power. The aforementioned problems are just some of the many challenges that the world is facing. Despite of the situation we are currently in, being a healthy in all aspects is a must. Be responsible in taking care of your well-being, for it is the first thing that we can hone and use as an ace in the hole. Don't let our emotion drain us. A stable mental health will help us to think critically. It will lead us to a better position, thus making us to be fully equipped to help in the problems we have now. A more sustainable and equitable community is what people's desire. This problem might be eradicated if we do have an equitable and sustainable world. What can we do to achieve this? Where and when? All the time is the right time to take an action to diminish these problems. Start to try extending our help in every possible way. All of us must adhere the rules and regulations implemented by the authorities to fight the COVID-19. With this, we can help to recede the casualties of the said virus. As for the violence, we must know the importance of communication. We can talk it out first so it doesn't have to end in violence. For the terrorism and war, we must establish a deeply rooted communication within our countries and always prioritize the people's security. Have you ever wondered what will it be like if all of the people are responsible enough to know their accountabilities? What will it be like if those who are in positions are thinking the people's security? What will it be like if we are building a deeply rooted communication within our countries and with other countries? These steps will be a great help for the world to be better. And perhaps, as the former Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Magnayan Grace said, if we can teach people to be grateful, we can have an amazing world where negativity cannot grow and prosper, and children will have smiles on their faces. Unity starts within ourselves, and if we do so, we can be one step closer towards the world we are dreaming for. One step closer towards the ideal world by Iverson Dasilaw. A pleasant day to all.
Good day, I'm Karen Acebo from grade 11 Stanley Hall ABM. An equitable and sustainable world is one where people have access to food, to security, to education, and health, and to justice. As you can see, many people lack necessities such as food and essentials, especially in Philippines, but there are also in different countries. On International Day of Peace, UN Philippines Resident Coordinator Gustavo Gonzalez says we are at an inflection point in our history. with humanity facing an urgent choice between a breakdown or a breakthrough. The coronavirus, conflict, and climate change are wreaking havoc and undermining our ability to reach development goals. Poverty, discrimination, and violence mean that millions of people around the world are denied health safety, a vaccination against disease, clean water to drink, a plate of food, and also a face mask and PPE. Our common agenda emphasizes the need for solidarity and cooperation to address these and other challenges facing the world today. Central to this, the UN Secretary General calls for a revival of the social contract, the arrangements and understandings of how people find solutions to shared problems, manage risk, deliver public goods, and implement norms and values. Mirroring the UN Secretary General's call, the global theme for the International Day of Peace, celebrated on 21 September every year, is recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. This reflects an increasing understanding that the essence of peace cannot be found in Security Council resolutions or treaties, but is about the myriad of large and small actions and decisions that impact on individuals, families, and communities. An equitable and sustainable world is one where people have access to food, to security, and to justice, where people are empowered to participate in decisions that affect them and consider their impact on the environment. Consequently, efforts towards peace and must address a broad range of factors that drive conflict and inequality. The world and the Philippines are at inflection point, but inflection point provide us with opportunities to step up and to make the right choices, internationally and within countries. When we recover better for a more equitable and sustainable world, we also lay the foundation for development, human rights, and peace. All we have to do is to help each other because we are all affected by poverty and scarcity. And as a student, I will gonna do is to study hard because this is the weapon that we can change the world. Thank you.
We were living a life we might have taken for granted. Casually, we proceeded to do our routines without a speck of worry that one day it might change. When suddenly, an epidemic introduced itself to us. Yet, we paid it no mind. It was nothing, just a virus to be eradicated. Still, there were regulations already. Rules were made. So, we disregarded it. And now, we're reaching our third year locked away in our homes, paranoid from the danger it brings. Our own carelessness brought us results far from what we expected. Casualties, unemployment, depression, anxiety, and so on. Believe it or not, you're actually lucky. While everyone has been impacted by this virus, it is the poorest who are affected disproportionately by it, meaning they got hit the worst. Many lost the opportunities they had. The world as it is right now is way too unjust and one-sided. Those with the privilege gets to sustain their financial state, highly unlike those at the bottom having to search for ways to earn even if it means they have to put themselves in danger. It's like being below and getting pushed further down. Don't you think that it's time? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure it's time. Recover our losses, reunite with our loved ones, bring back the time of happiness and equity, where everyone had the same smile and opportunity. But to do so, you need to start from yourself. Never be selfish and help those who you can. To recover from this pandemic, as stated by the United Nations, we must put people at the center of response to achieve a more equitable and resilient outcome for all. Organizations such as SDGs and Paris Agreement, which moves with the goal of transformative recovery and sustainable development, will be the key for putting an end to this all. Hand by hand, let us recover what was damaged, and together we will bring back what was lost. Because at the end of the road, what awaits us is an equitable and sustainable world.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jasmine Micaela Argalit from 11S Hawking. And today, I would like to present to you my informative speech about recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. The COVID-19 pandemic is not just a medical crisis, but also a social and economic disruption in our national economy. We began 2019 with a soaring economy. However, a virus known as coronavirus deranged our world that continues to weigh heavily in our daily lives. Businesses are failing, online classes are very ineffective, and people all over the world are living in poverty due to the low economy experienced by every country. This pandemic relentlessly exposed deep complications in labor, making our lives very unpredicted. The ILO, or the International Labor Organization, estimates that as many as 25 million people are unemployed, with a loss of workers' income of $3.4 trillion. The decline in labor was mostly due to temporary business closure and strict quarantine regulations. Researchers around the world have been working hard to develop COVID-19 vaccines from the very early stage of the pandemic. After multiple phases of clinical trials and through the helping hands of different researchers, scientists, manufacturers, and also distributors, they finally made a vaccine that can prevent death and serious symptoms of coronavirus. Scientists in different countries have developed vaccines as well. Moderna in the USA, AstraZeneca in the United Kingdom, Sinovac in China, and many more that contribute to the deletion of the virus. Today, being vaccinated is an obligation as a citizen in the Philippines and all over the world. You must have a vaccine for you to eat in your favorite restaurant, for you to go to the mall, for you to buy something, for you to ride a certain transportation. These vaccines are our protection. Through these vaccines and the cooperation of the Filipinos, the Philippine economy is gradually rising. And bit by bit, communication with other people. What about you? Will you say yes to the vaccine?
Hi everybody, so I am wearing face mask because safety is our priority, but I don't see anybody here, that's why I'm going to remove this. So hi, I am Jesse Mart Miguel P. Simon, and I'm here to share with you an informative speech that I've created about youth. So let me start. So for me, a youth is indeed a gift of nature. Well, according to Oxford Dictionary, a youth is the period between childhood and adulthood. So with that being said, a youth may possess both childishness and maturity at the same time. Their personality is really inconsistent. A youth may be generous today but aggressive, selfish, and mature the next day. A youth's mindset is all about freedom at all costs. They will do anything just to accomplish their wants, regardless if it's good or bad. Still, youths play one of the most important role in making the world better. Well, technology is an example. With the aggressiveness they have, they continuously discover a lot of new things that are helpful to our society. Even though they are sometimes aggressive and insensitive about their words, but this helps them know the reality of the world and how life really works. Well, in contrast to what everybody thinks about youths, fairness is what they really wanted. They are now learning the importance of their voices and starting to be influential to other people. Well, we cannot remove the fact that there are still instances where youths are being negative to our society, but we can teach them. A better and a quality education is what we need. Education teaches us skills that we may use in the future for the betterment of ourselves and our nation. It prepares us for the reality of life and teaches us on how to prepare or how to create reasonable, mature decisions. Well, as the COVID-19 pandemic makes our life miserable, we need to be empowered to do all of our responsibilities in life. And as a youth, we have to be courageous and prepared for every challenges life will give us to improve ourselves and to be an inspiration to everybody. The greatest time in life to nurture is when we are young. Although this period is full with happiness and love, we still need to open our minds about every challenges that we may have. Well, to end this speech, I wanted to tell you that we only live once, but if we do it right, once is enough. Let's all stand up and start our adventure to the world, a world we only began to explore. Well, that's all. Thank you.
To my fellow students and to my beloved teachers, a pleasant day to everyone. Today, I want to share my speech about recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. We are all important in this world. We do a lot in our daily lives that helps our world. We are the way to make our world better and more beautiful. But people still don't stop destroying it and they don't care about it. That's why we experience the problem like this pandemic. How can we find a solution to this problem for the recovery of our world? Today, we will talk about the importance of taking care of our world and how to help it. Our world is what we have lived in since we were born. Our God gave it because He knew that we have a capability to protect all His creations. Every human being needs the world because if there is no world, there is no human, animal, and other things that exist here in this world. It is natural to provide our daily needs because that is what He can help us with. But it is sad to think that we cannot return the help the world has given us because man himself destroys our world and doesn't appreciate what they did. Just like we are facing right now, a pandemic. Many of us experience suffering from virus. Some have been infected and a lot of people lost a loved ones. And our economy breaks down. It is true that repentance is late because in the beginning, we did not do what was best for us and instead chose to make mistakes. Unity and teamwork is one of the ways we can contribute for the recovery of our world. Only humans will be the way to make things right. There is no perfect human being here on earth, but we can do something to reduce our mistakes. Let it be a lesson to us that we value the things that give us need and helps us in our daily living. As long as we live, let us do what is good for ourselves, for our neighbor, and ultimately for this world. Let us unite and work out ways to change the bad things we have done in this world, for betterment of justice and sustainability in our world. Once again, I'm Lance Chester Romero of 11 Painter.
During this pandemic, Almost every country around the globe is in the state of distress. Rise in poverty, famine, recession, conflict, and mental health instability are some examples of the effect of the pandemic on human lives. The time where unity is essential to all becomes a time wherein people fight against each other due to discrimination and stigma. People fall deeper and plunges into the depths of despair. The light that is in their hearts is swallowed out by the darkness, which then allows hatred to breed animosity. However, this negative train wreck of emotions isn't necessary for our survival. What we need is at least a glimmer of hope to make through the dark times, compassion to understand each other's innermost feelings, and kindness in order to increase the well-being of our fellow men. While fighting against this pandemic, there are a lot of things that we need to do. We need to strengthen our bonds with our families and friends so that people who are important to us will remain connected. We need to socialize with others so that we can form new bonds. We need to encourage authentic positivity, since a toxic one will in the end may cause us pessimism. We need to promote healing so that emotional scars will fade away. We need to spread love to make other people feel treasured. We need to shower others with kindness so that their hearts will be brimmed with warmth. We need to show gratitude so that we can forget how thankful we are. We need to rise up and stand with each other so that no one will be left behind. We need to support one another to build up the world. Though it may not be possible to restore what is lost, we can do something to build a new, brighter, and better future. We need to trust each other so that once again, we can believe someone's words wholeheartedly. We need to forgive to lighten the heaviness in our hearts. Once we do all of these things, it will become a pathway that will allow us to become a better version of ourselves. Changing for a good cause is important in regards with today's situation. After we make ourselves better, it will become a step to recovering for a better, equitable, and sustainable world.
There is a legend that at the beginning of time, God set aside land for each country. The Greeks were last, distraught to be left with scattered rocks in the ocean, as all else had been given away. But God looked upon them and smiled. He said, "Fear not, as this land I was saving for myself. I have welcomed you into my home."
Kalimera, Legumera Fael Viel, from the land known for its rich history and the birthplace of democracy. Eleftheriai, Thanatos, Greece. You are my the COVID-19 crisis continues to dominate our lives, we must work around the clock to help shape the fast-moving COVID-19 response policy for much-needed relief and flexibility. One of the most significant lessons that this year has taught is that we can still have fun together and learn from one another, even at a distance. Let this be a reminder that if something is important to you, you can still raise your voice and awareness for it. Since we are not able to take part at this event together physically, joining forces in a virtual way is how we demonstrate how together we are strong.
Daja Hao, 下面我来介绍一下我自己. My name is Jin Justin Go Alfonso, 16 years of age, under the supervision of Miss Laila David, all the way from the section of Stephen Hawking, and currently studying as a STEM student because my dream is to become an engineer someday. When I was a kid, I really loved to draw that I drew everything looks interesting to me. Then in high school days, my drawing skills improved a bit because of the subject called technical drawing. Then I studied electricity as TVL or STVE. We connect wires to lamps, switches, and outlets. Those are the things that led me to become a STEM student. One of my advocacy is that I wish every school has an organization that talks more about racism, which discrimination and negative judgment can be considered. I would love it if it was implemented because they will have the strength and a voice to fight for their rights. And with that, the whole world can hear them more than they deserve, and maybe this issue will be eliminated when the time goes by. I can stand as their voice of the voiceless, especially to those people who can't afford to speak out about their concern in this particular issue. Giving acknowledgement and spreading peace towards other people's faces is one of the happiest things that I could contribute in this countryman. Again, this is Jin Justin Go Alfonso of 11 Stephen Hawking, representing China. That's all. 谢谢.
The global pandemic has changed the way we live. We all struggle. We all travel these uncharted waters with a great fear. And now, we gather all the strength left to revive our wounded spirit, to turn the tide, and to fight towards a better, sustainable, equitable future for all. More than ever, as we work to end this chaos and recalibrate the morale of humanity, the world is in search of heroes who can supply compassion for others. Today, that is who we are. We will continue to rise and heal. Together, we will step into a future with an abundance of opportunity and the presence of equity and sustainability for all. Assalamualaikum, Eugene Makel Isidro, representing the land of Pharaohs and thousand sons, Egypt.
Levanta a mão pro ar
Hola, soy el príncipe Gian Perez en representación de Venezuela.
Today's world situation is not the way the people expected it to be. None of us has to come prepared for this pandemic caused by COVID-19. The internet is a part of our daily lives today, and we're no more focused on it. So my advocacy is to remind all the users to be responsible when using it, because some people are using internet to bully and shame other people. Example of this is racism. That's a lot of races are scattered around the world. They judge you and discriminate you of what color of your skin and ethnicity. And racism is more than just words, beliefs and action. It includes all the barriers that prevent people from enjoying dignity and equality because of their race. So instead of being a racist, be an anti-racist. Make them feel that they're not different from us. They also deserve the world, and they deserve to live in this paradise peacefully.
Myanmar, sometimes known as Burma, is a Southeast Asian country located in the continent's western region. Myanmar is a Buddhist country where Theravada Buddhism reigns supreme. Buddhism arrived in Burma at the beginning of the Christian era, mixing with Hinduism and indigenous animism. Myanmar's attire varies by ethnicity, geography, climate, and the people's cultural customs in each region. The Lungi is Burma's most famous national garment, worn by both men and women throughout the country. Velvet, silk, lace, muslin, and cotton are among the textiles, weaves, textures, colors, and materials used in Burmese clothing. The United Nations Human Rights Council is the one who monitors any abuse, killings, rape happen in a particular country. They are the one who send a group of investigators to initiate an investigation proving any violation of the international human rights law. The United Nations Human Rights Council is one who rebukes the leader in a particular country if that leader will enforce something that is against human rights. They constantly collaborating with the World Civil Society pertaining to torture, rights of refugees, death penalty, condition of detention, and other issues which needs an immediate response.
Third, Erisel Tatoy, 17, from 11, Thorndike, representing the country of Myanmar.
A wonderful day, everyone. I am Miko C. Aranda from 11 Habol, representing United States of America.
I have chosen to speak for the child and youth who is lack of education and knowledge, and the poverty that causes to destroy their dreams. As a student, I know how it feels to be left behind. And I don't want other childs and youth will experience the same thing. And I am here to spoke for them. Education is a power for a better destination. Support, proper, and knowledge is what children and youth need this time of crisis. We should push children's own school learning because this education is the best choice to enhance their skills and abilities. Youths and children are the future, so let our future have an amazing community with education power they carry with them. United States of America.
I dare you.
Lego.
Hello, guten Tag. Ich heiße Biton Wakio, representing from the land of poet and singers, Germany. If I will be the Mr. United Nation, I will promote environmental awareness of each and every one of us. Everyone needs to commit to becoming more environmentally aware. I believe that being aware of environmental issues is important of our life. You see, Mother Earth has to be taken consideration. Flooding, landslide, had occurred, wildfire, and disastrous things happening. We must act by giving our own little things to help. Giving emphasis to how we can contribute to help our loving earth, planting plants to prevent erosion and landslide. Segregate waste material that clog the flow of water. Which cause flooding. My dream is to build community of people who makes the world better to live.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaden F. Dison, Vietnam, Globe Elise.
Twisted, baby, I'm a goner, I'm a monster. Don't listen to what I say, cause I say things that I don't mean. When the liquor speak, don't wanna break your pretty heart, cause I love to lay when laying this next to you. I feel alive, I'm shawty on my side, let's dance. I like that, yeah, I like that, yeah, I like that. Angel running fingers through my hair. I like that, yeah, I like that, yeah, I like that. Way we touching got you singing, yeah. You like that, yeah, you like that, yeah, you like that. Good night is worth 1,000 words. One good girl is worth 1,000 birds. Let's travel the world and make 1,000 firsts. The way you moving got me at a loss for words, yeah. Take you out in public, you a masterpiece. The way you're looking, all my exes mad at me. Let's open our eyes, cause there's a lot to see. I wanna live my life, cause there's a lot to see. Let's go to Paris, let's get...
Body positivity has its plus sides. It empowers women and men to feel comfortable in their bodies, and it advocates for more inclusion and equality. All people deserve to have a positive body image, regardless of how society and popular culture view ideal shape, size, and appearance. Just be you and be confident on what you have, because you are beautiful as you are.
I like that, I like that, I like that. Angel running fingers through my hair. I like that, yeah, I like that, yeah, I like that. When you touching, got you singing.
Konnichiwa, Yoitsui Itachi. My name is Mel David Pita Borda, grade 12 STEM student, and I'm here to represent the land of the rising sun, Japan! The earth is facing its toughest situation right now, and as a student, I also want to change the world for the better. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to dramatic loss of human life worldwide and has now been affecting every aspect of our lives. But how can we recover to this great challenge? How can we achieve equitable and sustainable world? Well, I think now is the time for global solidarity and support, especially with the most vulnerable in our societies. We are at an inflection point in our history, with humanity facing an urgent choice between a breakdown or a breakthrough. The coronavirus, conflict, and climate change are wreaking havoc and undermining our ability to reach developmental goals. And as a student who wants to achieve an equitable and sustainable world, I am here to encourage everyone to address such issues. We must always consider our impact on the environment and regard ourselves as the ones who will, and the ones who must change the world for the better. Once again, this is Mel David Pita Borda, leaving a lesson that before we change the world, we must be the change. Arigatou gozaimashita!
Facing the phenomenal, devastating, and fatal crisis, it only shows us the equality of every human being. The pandemic that has been long overdue has revealed to us how fragile and limited we are as we continue to grasp survival each day, regardless of our differences. In line with this, humanity must be prepared and gear oneself up as we arise and uphold the winning against this catastrophe. The chaos has wrapped us up so much that we forget how progressive and powerful our lives can be. In response to the global epidemic, each one of us must be an empowered individual. People who are valorous amid all of this, ready to face the reality of every circumstance today, and eager enough to regain one's strength. Together, as the situation suits and the world heals, we humans must take a step forward and willingly empower ourselves to attain concealment and recovery, not just for ourselves, but also for the whole and entire world, to be an equitable and sustainable one for the present and a preparation to the future. Sawadika, Chikungkan Po, Prince Nurapan, representing the Land of Smiles, Thailand.
Arenas, a grade 12 UM student from Poblacion Campus, representing Australia. Past year, we all experienced things that we really don't think that will ever happen to us. Pandemic, which put us in a situation where all our movements become limited. Many people died, paralyzed the economy, but what's good for us Filipinos is the attitude of resiliency. Asking everyone to get vaccinated amidst the global crisis pandemic. It's not for our safety, but for the safety of our family and the whole wide world. Vaccinated help lessen the cases. Together with the attitude of being obedient, with the rules and protocols of the national and local government, we can be part of the recovery process to have a better world to live in. Go and be vaccinated for the betterment of our nation and our world. Again, I'm Rainier Asenas, your Mr. Australia from grade 12 UMS.
Nama saya Layakay, siswa kelas 12 bagian Blue di Colegio de San Gabriel Arcangel. Dan saya percaya dengan pepatah, pemena bukan orang yang tidak pernah gagal, tapi orang yang berhenti. Menghadirkan negara yang dikenal dengan pulau-pulaunya yang unik dan multikultural serta negara yang sangat religius, Indonesia. As a student, I do believe that I have an ability to help our world to have a better, equitable, and sustainable nations. Being creative is one of the greatest contributions that I can give to transform our world by means of education. Because I believe that education is the most powerful to brighten up the future of this world. Through education, we receive light, hope, and brighter tomorrow. So let's educate ourselves and transform this world as a better nation.
Amore Berhole Almal, X Jericho Estrella Borhole, Degneste Africaner Indigenous Group. Our advocacy is to enhance the well-being of the African people and to advance human rights and democratic values in the Africa. We also raise awareness of the people there. However, it still remains a challenge, and one of the things that in my advocacy is to help and prevent insult to Africans. Elias Demener, Swed Afrikaban, Indigenous Group.
Shumbrip Surniaknia, Knum Chimo James Darren de Jesus, Knumban Mokpi Levin Stanley Hall.
Every day, in every corner of the globe, the United Nations works to address important issues and improve people's lives. Each of us may contribute to the UN's work by supporting it and helping to create a more peaceful community. These are excellent ways for those who want to make a difference in the world to advocate for change. Education is one of the most significant ways to advocate for change out of all the advocacy. There is no way to support others to make a change until people are educated about a problem. It is more important to enlighten the entire community about global poverty than it is to educate people at work or in school, because informing more people about an issue reduces the chance of enduring change. If we prevent discrimination laws, policies, and beliefs, we can ensure equal opportunity and lessen poverty incidents. We must ensure that developing countries are better represented in global decision-making in order for solutions to be more effective, reliable, and fully responsible. Participation in culture helps children and teens develop knowledge and skills, self-esteem, and resilience. We can save a child's life every 20 seconds by improving access to vaccines, which strives to strengthen the UN connection to assist tackle the world's largest crisis. Vaccines must be promoted as one of the most cost-effective ways to save the lives of children in developing countries. We must educate, connect, and empower the entire world.
All my ladies, all my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. Wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. You see me, I do what I gotta do, oh yeah. On the guest list, no need to queue, oh yeah. Me and my crew, we got the juice, oh yeah. So come here, let me mentor you. Well, some say I'm bossy, cause I am the boss. Buy anything, I don't care what it costs. Stack like casino, I'm Monte Rustino. If you're the Supreme, then I'm Diana Ross. All my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. Wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. Report to the dance floor when I say, ah yeah.
Bonjour à vous tous. Je m'appelle Gerald A. Paulito, de la 12 Anne Montessori, représentant la Vieux Pays de la France.
Cause you are the boss. Buy anything, you don't care what it costs. Stack like casino, I'm Monte Rustino. If you're the Supreme, then I'm Diana Ross. All my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow simple instruction. Wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction.
Yo, send me have everything when you want, put it on me. They done not the realest talk, cause she don't play.
I will do my best to empathize and serve as the epitome of equity and compassion to people by being the voice of the marginalized sector, while empowering and inspiring them to speak up for themselves. With this in mind, I will advocate impartiality for each and everyone, so that no one will be left behind. We must learn to fight for our rights, to seek equality, and to be the voice of victims of unjustness and inadequate treatment, so that everyone's needs will be accommodated and will be given access to essential things in order to gain comfort that we need, especially today that we are experiencing a health crisis, thus making our world sustainable and equitable for everyone.
That you're bossy cause you are the boss. Buy anything, you don't care what it costs. Stack like a casino, I'm Money Moschino. If you're the supreme, then I'm Diana Ross. All my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction. Wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Mark Denver Avalos, representando desde grado Wildcards. Me siento honrado de representar al país de España, gracias a todos. And I am here for a purpose, and my advocacy is to raise awareness about mental health. Now that we're amid this pandemic, while scrolling through social media, how many smiles have you seen this day? Have you ever wondered, are those smiles plastered in their faces were genuine? Surely it has been a tough year for all of us. Lots of burnouts, dryness, and anxiety. And somewhere in those four concerned rooms, someone is having a hard time. I'd like to have a voice to stop the stigma about mental health. That instead of saying, those are just, and it's not that big, or even it's not even hard, we should start to try understanding and listening. Let's be aware that mental health is true. A simple, hello, how are you doing? It could be more than enough for family, friends, and even those people you randomly encounter at streets or at your feet. Let's create a space wherein they will feel safe and heard. Stop mental health stigma.
Buongiorno a tutti. Je m'appelle Jean-Paul Sadulio de Pay, de Doriejo Sicontola, de Belgium, section de Zay, Alfred Binet.
Pleasant day to everyone. My name is Jean-Paul Sadulio from the land of the most delectable chocolates, fries, and wide variety of beers. Representing Belgium of Section 12, Alfred Binet of TBL Home Economics Management. In terms of environmental policies, everyone experiencing climate change, so my advocacy is to make an impact in society and promote sustainability, promote the good use of our resources and sustainable ecotourism, and also the importance of education among people focusing on the 5 R's, which is rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect. And that way, we would invest in renewable energy to help out.
Namaste. Subrabat meranam Jesimart Miguel P. Simon, may solasal, kihugiara mila, sa India ka representing Kartihu. Thanyavad. Let me tell you all a story. A boy once had a dream that he was walking on a very long and dark road. But he was holding a glowing torch that is made of gold. While walking, he saw a lot of youths crying as their problems keep multiplying. They all wanted to hold onto the torch, for they saw hope to enlighten their path. The torch brightened up as the number of children holds onto the torch. When everybody was with him, they finally saw the beautiful world, a world that they only began to explore. When I saw the face of the boy, I was stunned. The boy was me. To end this speech, I wanted to tell you that we only live once, but if we do it right, once is enough. Again, my name is Jesimart Miguel P. Simon from 11 Miller, proudly representing India.
Mabuhay! I, Mark Anthony Abaro from Grade 12 PJ, representing the country of Philippines. The pandemic has been accompanied by surge in stigma, discrimination and hatred, which only cost more lives instead of saving them. Each of us has a role for change, so I encourage my fellow young people. We are the backbone of a society. Our participation in all aspects of society is very important. Therefore, empowering, strengthening, and including young people in the work environment will reduce unemployment, crime, drug abuse, and hatred. By allowing ourselves to contribute and to participate, this will lead to a better society, a better country, a better world, and create positivity as we fight this COVID-19 pandemic. Let's transform our world into one that is more equitable and inevitable by spreading compassion, kindness, hope in facing the pandemic as we recover. Youth empowerment for a better society. Muli, Mark Anthony Abaro, representing Philippines.
those that believe in it the most and believe in it the longest. Precras naiden bisem, Menya Zubot Angelo Pagaduan of 11 Pinker representing country of Russia. Espasibo! As a student, I do believe that I have a capability to do things to make our world united even in this time of pandemic. Being creative is one of the best that I can do to recover and to transform our world to become more healthier, equitable, and sustainable. Education is the most powerful thing to change our world because I believe the education is the greatest contribution that anyone can give. Through education, we receive light, hope, and brighter tomorrow. Let's educate ourselves for the brighter future of this world. Once again, I'm Angelo Pagaduan. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Raven John F. Pancho, the representative of Grade 11 Marie Curie STEM. Para mí, levantándose como uno, ninguno podía quedarse en la carrera, porque la nación de todos los estados es imparable en levantarse, porque nuestra unidad es imperecedera.
Hola, I'm Kyle Christian Tilagunsel, 17 years old and representing the beautiful country of Mexico. With the current circumstances that the whole world are facing right now, the concern with the rise of the depression, sexual abuse, and exploitation have been skyrocketed this year. So, it is important to know the reason behind these unfortunate events that the minors had been suffered. We, minors, are most fully aware and educated of the suffering and effects of the depression in those children or minors who are abused and exploited by the predators.
So, advocated mental health awareness and anti-exploitation of minors to educate and inform the others so they can prevent and be ready to these unfortunate events.
Bonjour, or good day everyone. My name is Justin Gabriel Lompacan, 18 years old, from grade 11, section Paulo Freire, representing the land of maple leaf, the beautiful country of Canada. For the theme of Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World, my advocacy is to have a free food to everyone, especially homeless people like in 70s. Nutribon is one of the successful free food campaign to avoid malnutrition in other countries. It also works in our country in late 70s. That's why I want to advocate to have a free food for other people. Thank you.
Tatang dari darha 11 chotes dan mewakili negara yang indah di Malaysia. As a person living in a city, I always see garbage scattered around, cutting down trees to construct high buildings, which affects our nature. So, I'm here to raise nature awareness, especially today's critically important environmental issues, and educate people to make conscious eco-friendly decisions and lifestyle choices.
Due to COVID-19 pandemic, more than 13 million children across South Africa were affected by school closures. Children already at risk of being excluded from accessing quality education have been most affected. And if I would have rights to shout and be the voice of all the youth, we will make an organization to support all the children. We will convince the government of our nation and please them to implement and prioritize the education online. Because even we experience this worst pandemic, our youth don't need to stop learning, but we need to continue learning. We don't need to give up just because we're tired, but what we do more is to pray and never stop learning. And for that, we can study over online schooling or online education. Youth should not be ignored because children is the hope of our nation.
Louis Van Julie Almar e extraordinary career sir Duwid Zanbanjanis Africa.
Namaste. Men Margaret Magnuhu, Yara Melo Sasulla Salke, Parat Kapratinitidwu.
I believe that true beauty comes from within. Support prevention of spreading COVID-19 by wearing masks. Observe social distancing, yet have a close heart to those who are suffering. The world is an inflection point in our history. We are all facing an urgent choice, whether to break down or break through. pandemic COVID-19, climate change, and conflict are destroying our ability to reach. The pandemic development goals has been accompanied by a surge in stigma, discrimination, and hatred. Cause lost lives instead of saving them. The virus attacks all without caring where a person is and what he believes in. During this time of pandemic, let us be reminded that we are not each other's enemy. We must make peace, be an instrument of peace.
I, Margaret C. Megano, saying, be beautiful inside and out.
Howdy, my name is Angeline A. De Jesus, 17 years old, and I'm proud to represent the flattest and the driest continent, the home to kangaroos and koalas, the long down under, Australia.
I came from the dream time.
The Great Barrier Reef, the pride and the joy of Australia, is made up of nearly 2,500 individual reefs and visible from space. Just like the reef that includes a vast stretch of kaleidoscopic corals, I value diversity and inclusion.
The first Australia.
I believe that if we welcome different perspectives and listen to everyone's ideas, we would have a better community. If we want to succeed and grow together, we should be respectful of all cultures and look to learn from others. We play an active role in communities in where we live. Respect, listen, participate. Let's celebrate difference.
Now, the world is slowly healing, patiently recovering from the wound of unforgettable phenomenon, trying hard to cover the empty spaces caused by the chaos. We should be back to what we're supposed to be. The main objective of our existence is to continue what was long overdue. It is not only for those in position of authority to take actions. We, the common people, must also act. Unity is important at these times. Let us unify and empower ourselves. For better peace, we must learn to understand and embrace our differences. I am sure that we can overcome this. We can overpower this with our collective discipline, unity, a sense of accountability, not just for ourselves, but also for the people around us. All these are for humans. Our help might be a little for them, but after all, we're still humans, capable of making change for the prime existence of the humanity. Bonjour, je m'appelle Rochelle Vitugbo de 12 Montessori et je représente fièrement la France!
the midst of this pandemic, all of us are suffering in many aspects, but mostly physically and financially. There is no exception, and because of that, most of the people are not able to obtain their basic needs, and we all see that kind of suffering everywhere. An equitable and sustainable world is where people have access to their basic needs, such as food, education, and healthcare. To build a world like that, we need better recovery by giving more convenient access of basic needs to our people. All of us are affected by this pandemic in many various aspects, so everyone should be a priority. If we can give something that someone needs, then why would we hesitate? Our generous act can inspire others to give if they can. It may only take one or few people to change the world's heart, and we will never know unless we try. Sawadee ka! Chikung Kantu, Gracie Lay Aguila, representing the Land of Smiles, Thailand. Kapun ka!
My name is Catherine L. Manalang, grade 12 STEM student, and I'm here to represent the land of the rising sun, Japan. COVID-19 is threatening to widen inequalities everywhere, undermine progress on global poverty, energy, and more. As a senior high school student, I believe that I can help in achieving equitable and sustainable world. During this pandemic, access to basic services such as water, sanitation, sustainable energy, education, and work become limited. I feel the burden and pain as I witness our world suffer. However, I know that through these words, I can open up your hearts and mind to help one another in recovering through this pandemic. We all wanted to see the world the way it was before. So let's all be the voice that can be heard. Let's promote peace through solidarity and togetherness in fighting all the unexpected battles of life. Once again, this is Catherine Manalang leaving you a lesson that together recovering better is easier. Arigatou gozaimashita!
Hello everyone, I am Sainasa Babon from Vietnam 12 Ellie.
Touching you slowly, love how you hold me. I was a player, that was the old me. I sent to pay ya for something holy. Got naked and showed me, girl, summer's been lonely, yeah. At first, I was hesitant, like a skeleton. You 20, but intelligent. Now all them other bitches so irrelevant. Oh yeah, 10 lines and some memories. Guess someone got the best of me. Chef B with the recipe. Yeah, but with you it's a better me. I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is I fucking love you. I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is I fucking love you. Oh yeah. Love you through the better days, love you through the rainy ones. Champion, you #1. Yeah, that's true. But I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is I fucking love you. Oh yeah. Yes I do. Chillin' top floor.
Body positivity has its best sides. It empowers women and men to feel comfortable in their bodies, and it advocates for more inclusion and equality. All people deserve to have a positive body image, regardless of how society and popular culture view ideal shape, size, and appearance. Just be you and be confident on what you have, because you are beautiful as you are.
I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is I fucking love you. I do.
The country of Myanmar. Myanmar, often known as Burma, is a Southeast Asian country in the western part of the continent. Myanmar is a Buddhist country dominated by Theravada Buddhism. Around the beginning of the Christian period, Buddhism arrived in Burma, combining with Hinduism and indigenous animism. Myanmar's clothing differs according to ethnicity, location, climate, and cultural traditions of the people in each region. The Langi is the most well-known Burmese national garment, worn by both men and women across the country. Textiles, weaves, textures, colors, and materials used in Burmese apparel are diverse, including velvet, silk, lace, muslin, and cotton. Freedom from discrimination. Living in a society surrounded by a lot of discrimination because something didn't reach their standard is really hard to believe. Discrimination is difficult to do, and it's typically linked to depressive symptoms. I stand here to raise awareness on having a prejudicial treatment to people based on them possess certain characteristics. Because I believe that each and every one of us have the right to be free from discrimination and live without judgment. And also, I do believe that we are all of different characteristics. Don't focus on what others said to you, because we are all unique in our different ways. I stand here to be the role model of yourself, to be the strongest person that you can be.
Ni hao, chúng ta cha dục cao dục quài đại diệt tiến. I am Ashley Colleen Benedicta Tatan, 16, under the supervision of Ms. Laila David, all the way from the section of Stephen Hawking and currently studying as a STEM student. I am the youngest child in the family, and since I was a child, I love drinking fresh milks, including coffee. Recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. My advocacy isn't all about having peace with one another, but we must make peace with nature. Despite the travel restrictions and economic shutdowns, climate change is not on pause. What we need is a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, reduces emissions, and builds resilience to climate impacts. When we insist on exclusive processes that give space to a wide range of community voices, we ensure that agreements are meaningful for those who have been most impacted by conflict by paving the way for schools, livelihoods, and the freedom to exercise one's culture. This must also include protecting those who speak out against injustice, for the protection of the environment, or to secure fair working conditions. These are all steps that are needed to restore the social contract. On this day, the world, the Philippines, and the United Nations invites everyone out there to celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online and offline, and by spreading compassion, kindness, and hope in the face of the pandemic and as we recover. Again, this is Ashley Colleen Benedicto Tatad of 11 Stephen Hawking, proudly representing China! 我谢谢你。
Suicide, Chimo, Urbagunam Koi, Marie Antoinette, A. Miranda, at the age of 16, from 11 Stanley Hall, representing the country Cambodia. As this program represents United Nations, I say, we really need to unite our nations. We need to stop the ongoing racism that is happening on our world right now. It's already 2021, but it's still present on our time. Racism is present on every nation in this world, and it's not right, and it will never be right. We people are supposed to unite and not to discriminate each other. We people are the only one who can help ourselves, especially at our time right now. With this pandemic going, only we, all nations, can help ourselves. We need to unite to step out of this matter, and we need to unite for a better future. Racism may look nothing when you are the one who's discriminating, but when you are the one who's being discriminated, it can shatter your whole life. It can lead to a bad mental health, and it may lead to a suicide. Because of racism, people tend to doubt themselves on who they are and what they are. Each and every one of us in this world, we are all beautiful. Every kind of race is beautiful, every skin color, every body type, every kind of language, every nation in this world are all beautiful. Let's stop the racism and unite as one, and let's all become a beautiful United Nations. A year has passed since the beginning of this pandemic, and no one is sure how much longer it will last. Although things are still uncertain, if we cultivate compassion and pass it on, we can forge a stronger sense of recovery for our family, community, and country. We can bring hope for others and remind them that in this battle, they are never alone. With small acts of coping, we could say that people are now recovering better than the previous months. We are now towards normalizing a new normal. It is a time where we are rebuilding a society trying to address everyone's needs through cooperation, discipline, and participation towards sustainability and equitability. Salam alaikum, Jana Margarita Waneza, representing the land of Pharaohs and Thousand Suns.
Egypt.
Levanta a mão pro ar e fecha o pé, arrasta mãozinha na cintura, quero ver você dançar. Todo mundo vai cantando, o coração acelerando, dançando e rebolando sem parar. E quando o sol raiar, a alegria vai chegar. Todo mundo vai dançar, a vida vai brilhar quando o monte conquistar. Oh, no samba do Brasil. É tropical, samba do Brasil, sensacional, samba do Brasil, é mundial, samba do Brasil, fenomenal, samba do Brasil.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Raisa Roque of 11 Habol, representing United States of America. I am here to praise not just my voice, but a voice of every individual who is suffering under depression and stress. We all deserve to be heard, and now I'm ready to dedicate, I'm ready to advocate. I stand here to raise awareness about everyone's mental health.
USA! USA! Essa bola vai rolar, mundo é um tapete verde. Quando a bola chega lá, coração fica na rede, na rede.
Love, understanding, unity is the key. We should always look in a situation with a silver lining and with a great vision and understanding.
I dare you.
Dance with your problem and let it go, because your mental health matters. And as we listen and understand each other's feelings, it's the power to make a different and a beautiful society. Hear each other's voice. Let us be open to every situation for us to be united, and together we are ready to conquer this mental health problem. United States of America.
There is a legend that at the beginning of time, God set aside land for each country. The Greeks were last, distraught to be left with scattered rocks in the ocean, as all else had been given away. But God looked upon them and smiled. He said, "Fear not, as this land I was saving for myself. I have welcomed you into my home."
Kalimera, Legome Blanca Valerie Hara from 11 Albert Einstein, STEM, from the land of Non for its rich history and the birthplace of democracy. Eleftheriae Thanatos, Greece.
Give me the thing, I make me rockin' at the dance. Give me the thing, I make me rockin' at the dance. Now she don't like stepping at the dance. Give me the thing, I make me rock, 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 rock. Give me the thing, I make me rockin' at the dance. Give me the thing, I make me rockin' at the dance. Now she don't like stepping at the dance. Give me the thing, I make me light it up.
COVID-19 has impacted the lives of all of us. The virus poses a risk to everyone's health and is proving to be especially dangerous for people with certain types of disabilities and chronic health conditions, as well as older adults. The pandemic has disrupted our lives and changed the way that we go to school, work, socialize, and more. Be part of the solution, not part of the pollution. Let us bring the attention to health and human rights considerations to COVID-19 pandemic.
Damas y caballeros, my name is Lian Hartatillo, and I proudly represent the beautiful country of 5 stars, Republic of Honduras.
Bella es mi tierra, ella es la que estremece todo mi interior. Bella es mi tierra, por su pueblo y por su gente Honduras es. Así te amo yo, así te añoro yo, por la mañana espera el sol.
Today, let me share you my story.
I had a simple childhood and I am the 3rd child in the family. My mother left to work overseas when I was 6 months old and came back when I was 3. Way back then, it was my grandmother who took care of me. Life has never been easier for our family. We are fortunate enough to eat 4 times a day, and we simply made it through the help of my grandparents. They've been managing a small junk shop, and I grew up helping them in the smallest way. With the things that our business did, it's not just helping the environment of my community, but the Mother Nature as well. It might be a dusty kind of work, but there is a saying,
there is cash from trash.
I don't hesitate to get my hands dirty if that means saving the environment. I am always at my happiest when surrounded by nature.
That is why my advocacy is about the environmental protection and conservation through solid waste management. I believe with the united efforts of each nation, we can save our nature from the impact of global warming. Let's protect our Mother Nature. We have always been so fortunate and blessed to have a rich and wonderful resources. It is time to give back and lend a helping hand. This is Lian Hartatillo representing the Republic of Honduras, Salvenos a la Madre Tierra.
Guten Tag, ich heiße Strawberry de los Reyes from 12 Berkeley, representing the land of poets and thinkers, Germany. Women at the present time have been experiencing being discriminated and mocked by other people because of their physical appearance, body shape, and size. I see a lot of this issue often on social media. That's the reality. We live in a judgmental society. Are we aware that this puts pressure on women? This has huge impact on women because they think there's something wrong with them, and it reduces one's self-esteem. To my fellow women, let's lift each other and remember that nobody is perfect. Everyone has their own issues and we never know what people are going through. Instead, let us all embrace our imperfections and remember that you are more than just your body and appearance. Your body shape and physical appearance does not define your worth. For those women who are experiencing this, I believe that when you love yourself, you glow from the inside. And I, danke schön.
Bebas dan sitara dala martabat dan hak.
Nama saya Nasrenas Danya, mewakili Indonesia.
Magandang buhay, magandang araw, mabuhay. I, April Dana Obuscano from grade 12 Projet, representing the Pearl of the Orient Seas, Las Islas Filipinas, Philippines. At the early age, I can see myself that I have potential and do something different despite of this pandemic. I inspired to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone recover better and how to transform our world into one that is more equal, more just equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. Education is one of the most important ways to advocate for change. Unless people are educated about a problem we face, there is no way to mobilize others to make a difference. Recovering, healing through education. Once again, April Dana Obuscano, representing Philippines. Maraming salamat po.
Representing grade 11 Siligman, waving the flag of Singapore. And my advocacy is, the new generation is more liberated than the other generations. We are more understanding about same-sex relationships. I know it is still not acceptable here in Philippines, but as a teenager, a student, a citizen of our country, loving the same sex is not a crime, nor against the rules of any religion. Because freedom starts in self-love, then love others. More love, more happy.
Thank you.
Annyeonghaseyo! I'm Sairel Ishimei Biala, 17 years of age from 11 Catel,
under the supervision of Ms. K.I. Mamburam, representing one of the country in East Asia, South Korea. Our common agenda emphasizes the need for solidarity and cooperation to address these and other challenges facing the world today. That's why I advocate growth and development to build a better world for everyone. I would love to have programs such as mentoring to give knowledge, to provide stairs for growth and development. Also, to encourage everyone how important to learn about diversity, culture, and the spirit of unity that our community needed the most this difficult time of crisis. To have a better for an equitable and sustainable world, my fellow youth need to understand that each of everyone has a different beliefs. We all need to do is to respect each other. I want everyone to explore the positive societal impact, the unity and the morality. Thank you.
Face in your face. What the hell is going on down there?
Hola, a todos, mi nombre es Angeline Blancotes, grado 11 y llevo en mi representación de este hermoso país, México. Anxiety in teenagers. Anxiety is very common in the preteen and teenagers. This is because adolescence is a time of emotional, physical, and social change, which is happening at the same time as teenage brains are changing. Teenagers are seeking a new experiences and more independence too. But teenagers might also worry about these changes, opportunities, and challenges. Be aware of your mental health and improve your mental health to live happy and healthy. And always remind yourself that a failure is not an option.
All my ladies, all my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. Wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction, follow my simple instruction. You see me, I do what I gotta do, oh yeah. On the guest list, no need to queue, oh yeah. Me and my crew, we got the juice, oh yeah. So come here, let me am the boss. Buy anything, I don't care what it costs. Stack like casino, I'm Monte Rustino. If you're the supreme, then I'm Diana Ross. All my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down low and take it back high. Bitch, I don't need introduction. Follow my simple instruction.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jonalyn Arigor, 16 years old, grade 11, section Paulo Freire, representing the land of maple leaf, the beautiful country of Canada. For the theme of Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World, my advocacy is no to plastic. We must stop using plastic, instead we use paper bags for us to save the world. Because of plastic, water animals die. They might eat anything that throw in the water that is made up of plastic. And for our ecosystem, floods are getting worse because of improper disposing of things that made up of plastic and cause danger for us. Be responsible because small actions that you do makes a big impact for the future. Thank you and God bless everyone. Once again, this is Jonalyn Arigor representing Canada.
El representante del grado 11 Marie Curie Italia. Advancing the most important public health issues around the world starts with catalyzing and energizing a sustainable movement of passionate advocates at the local, national, regional, and international levels.
Valencia, du pas des chocolates delicios, de varieties et de la grande variety de beers representan La Belgium.
Pleasant day to everyone. My name is Trixie May Valencia from grade 12 Alfred Binet, Technical Vocational Livelihood, Home Economics Management. I'm representing the land of most delectable chocolates, Belgium. I advocate for people who are satisfied with where they are and only support those who are needed the most and wanted to. What these people need are everything but the familiarity of the shelter where they grow up with. Thank you.
Ma journée est passée à une de ces vitesses, pas mis le nez dehors et pas lavé.
my ladies. All my ladies, wind to the left, sway to the right, drop it down.
Victory is not about never falling, but rising whenever we fall. This is the Empress Nagu Ultra Menezabot Angel Maria Ocampo of 11 Pinker, representing the country of Russia. Spasibo.
As a student, I do believe that I have an ability to change our world for a betterment of our nations, even in this time of pandemic. Being a student is not the hindrance to transform our world into an equitable, sustainable, and healthier, because I believe that my greatest contribution that I can give is my education. Being educated will lead us in a brighter tomorrow and the one which gives us light and hope in this world. Once again, I am Angel Marie Ocampo. Thank you.
When it comes to equality, race, job, genes, or height shouldn't matter. Each and every individual must be treated fairly. We must stand and be ready to speak up for anyone who is suffering from discrimination, not just only for the children, but also the elderly and the disabled people. Don't you worry. Instead of focusing so much on hatred towards other people, everyone must focus on what all of us can and will be able to stand and defend the powerless. Focus on how we can come together as a community to provide support to each and every individual.
You got to listen to the beat.
Equality, love, respect, and freedom. Muchas gracias.